airline weather delays and cancellations can be so frustrating. Now multiply that by 40 million passengers this year, Craig.
That is a big number, Michael. JetBlue hopes to soothe some of the tempers out there and eliminate travel headaches by talking about weather forecasts and forecasting. The company recently announced that tomorrow.io will be providing weather forecasts for all of their flights.
All right, yeah. Dan Slagen, the Chief Marketing Officer for tomorrow.io, joins us live now, and so great to talk with you, Dan. Thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so you guys use a wealth of technology to get your forecasts. So tell us a little bit about how the satellites you use to forecast and how those help you in planning different routes and flights.
Sure. So Tomorrow.io, we are a climate adaptation and weather intelligence company, and we take a proprietary approach to weather forecasting. So we look at public data models out there, but we also have our own private models as well that we look at to put the most actionable forecast out there across the world. We're also currently working on a project. We've just finished building our own proprietary satellites that are launching up into space, which are actually going to go live in the next couple months, which will launch. And it's going to be a huge improvement across weather forecasting for the entire world. Right now, the best way for us to forecast weather as a planet is from space. And the refresh rate that we get from space right now, there's one satellite up there equipped with radar. It sends back data once every 3 days. Our satellites are going to be sending back data once every 3 hours and will give us full global coverage into parts of the world that sometimes can be harder to predict. South America, Africa, Asia, and most importantly, over the oceans where we see the majority of those big storms form.
That's a huge difference, 3 days to 3 hours. I imagine that's going to help some of these airlines with dealing with delays and cancellations.
Yeah, absolutely. So we work with a number of different industries, airlines being a big one. We also work across logistics, the supply chain, trucking, energy, mining, technology, but our customers are fantastic and they're solving big problems and they're being impacted by the weather on a daily, weekly basis. We work with Uber, Microsoft, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, JetBlue, Delta, Ford, Air Force. And so what we've seen is over the past couple of years, just how much more weather and climate impact is in the forefront of both the operations and the safety departments.
And you know, it's all about the bottom line. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, how much money does JetBlue and some of your other carriers actually save by having more accurate forecasts with the tools that you guys utilize?
I can just give one example with JetBlue. I mean, one tactical use case that they use this for is for de-icing planes and knowing in advance when their flights are going to be at risk of de-icing. And so by being ahead of the weather a little bit, they can save anywhere from $50,000 per month per hub across all their airports and operations. And it's a wild story because we actually just began working with them 5 or 6 years ago, just out of the Boston Logan Airport. And we've now been able to grow the relationship. Last week, we announced we're now the weather provider for their global in-flight operations across the entire airlines.
That is incredible. My goodness, Dan, a huge thank you to you and your entire team. Hey, thank you so much for making time for us today. We really appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thank you both.